Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another great episode of Foxborough Central. I am your host, Bob Hickey, thanking you for taking a little bit of time to talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough the gem of Norfolk County. And of course, this is our special election episode featuring our incumbent, Ginny Coppola, Virginia Coppola, running for selectman again.
That's right.
Amazing. It's not amazing, actually. You're very civic-minded. You've been our state representative, and you've been our selectman now, and you're running again. So that must mean you still have some passion and some things you want to do.
Yes, very much so.
It is great that you're doing that, and it's great that you're serving our community, and been your friend for many, many years. And so I'm happy that, at least I hope you're happy doing this. Are you happy being selectman?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the important thing, is that we're happy. So we are here to talk about the Coppola for Selectman campaign. And why don't we start off with the question that we always ask: why are you running again?
Well, I would like to continue with the work that's been started on the Board of Selectmen in the last 3 years. There are some issues that will be continuing, and I want to be a part of it. Also, we have a new management team. We have the new town manager, new assistant town manager, and I would enjoy working with them for the betterment of the town of Foxborough.
Great. So when we talk about, and as you know, I used to be a selectman back in the day, and I always was able to pin back and say, you know what, I did some things I'm pretty darn proud of. And whether people even recognize them, realize them or not, it's still a matter of tooting our own horns. So when we go to the polls on May 4th at the Ahern Middle School, which I know everybody's going to go to the polls May 4th at the Ahern Middle School, hopefully to vote for Ginny Coppola. Why should they vote for you? What are some of your accomplishments that you're pretty tickled about?
Well, I think the best vote I ever took in as a selectman was voting for the new town manager. I mean, the process was very good. We were involved in the process with the Collins Center at UMass. We developed the selection team. The Board of Selectmen had input on the selection team. And the process was very good. We narrowed it down to, the selection team narrowed it down to 3 candidates. We interviewed the candidates. And we really did research each candidate. Personally, we made phone calls, and we came up with our own reasons for choosing the people that we chose. And my first choice was Bill Keegan. Because of his resume, his experience, I just thought he would be really good for the town of Foxborough, and I've been proven correct.
I would have to support you on that. Bill Keegan, who, by the way, shameless promotion, he also has a show here on Cable Access, the Ask the Town Manager show that appears on a monthly basis, and he takes your questions. And I suppose that right there is a key difference in, say, from the previous one, is that he is all about the communication. And we'll even put aside the fact that it was a professionally driven search. The Collins Institute did it. It was done transparently. It was done out in the open. And frankly, I think that any of the 3 candidates that were presented to you would have made fine choices, but I am so impressed with Bill Keegan. He is, as they say, he's the real deal. He really has made some things happen in the short time he's been here. But I'm so impressed with the transparency and the communication and just his immediate grasp of all the issues and seemingly expert way that he understands the nuances, because it's so hard to come into a new town, and pick up on the political play, the differences, and some of the factors that you can't even quantify, you can't write down. Well, this happened 15 years ago, which maybe leads into the feelings here, but he seems to get it. And I think that I would support you on it. That was an excellent, excellent choice.
Well, his background, he started out as a planner. That was his first career move. And then at some point he was in charge of HR, human resources, for a company in Florida. Then he moved back and he became assistant town manager at different places. And when in Dedham, he dealt with Route 1 issues. He dealt with Legacy Place. He knows what it's like to deal with
absolutely
a mall.
Legacy Place.
There was large construction projects that he dealt with.
And he also had a downtown area that was in
And he
definite
revitalized.
need of some revitalization, and
Right.
really that is such a project in and of
Right.
itself, because how do you get the businesses together, how do you get the
Right.
municipal budget together, and then how do you just get the wherewithal and the political will
Yeah.
to push all that
Right.
forward, because you can't just make it happen. You got
Right.
to pull from other resources and get everybody on the same page, and that is a skilled statesman who's able
Right.
to do that. So.
But he also listens. He listens to the concerns. He's very accessible. Oh, I mean, you can call him up anytime. Well, we call him up. We call him up a lot. But also, he reports back, to the selectmen. Oh, by the way, this is what's coming up. And that's very refreshing.
It's interesting you bring that up.
He's very professional.
Yes, I was just going to say, because for those of you who are fans of town government, and I would like to say that I am, and watch the selectmen's meetings, I don't go live. I watch them on Foxborough Cable Access, because as you know, folks, you can watch them live, or you can go to our website at www.fcatv.org. Shameless self-promotion.
Silver, I was
Absolutely.
just thinking that.
But Frank McDowell's there, and he films your meetings, and they are really must-see TV as far as understanding how our government works. And he does a great job of presenting the current issues, what's coming up. He
Right.
does his manager's report, and he just gives you the sense that he's got it all under control.
He
It must be great from your standpoint, having
It
that
is.
sense of confidence in the people that work for you.
Yes, let me tell you, the first 2 years of my 3-year term at times were not pleasant. And in this last year, Mr. Keegan has been town manager, and there is a marked difference.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
And I know this is about re-electing Ginny Coppola, but I will have to say that as a columnist for the local paper, there's such a difference, and it's such a breath of fresh air, and it's so positive. So that's an excellent hire, and I suppose that would definitely go down as a mark of
Yes,
accomplishment.
and people run for the Board of Selectmen in order to help the community. And it's very nice when you can work together with the other board members and work with the other boards and commissions in the town. And having Keegan at the helm really makes a difference. He's a very inclusive person, and he's just the most marked thing is he's just professional, and that's what we were lacking. We were lacking a lot of professionalism.
I would have to say that we as a community probably agree with you wholeheartedly with that. So now let's talk about this professionalism, and the big monkey on the table is the town hall. I know that there's been a lot of work that's gone into it, and since Mr. Keegan has started, that has all sort of become more of a process as opposed to a flash. And I'm a fan of process. So where are we in the process, and what's the next step?
Well, the first thing that had happened in 2012 when I came on board, one of the first votes that we took, the selectmen, is what do we want to do with town hall? Rebuild or renovate or build new? And the selectmen voted to build new. The previous board had also voted that. So then the next decision was, okay, where's it going to be? Is it going to be at the present location, or is it going to be at other locations?
I know a bunch of
So
locations were kind of bandied about.
Right.
The old post office, which didn't work. Well, current post office,
Right.
which didn't work out. Chestnut Green, and the old
Right.
auditorium building.
Right.
But the decision was made to keep
Yeah.
it where it's at.
Right, and the town hall is really in deplorable condition. There was deferred maintenance. Other buildings took precedence, and so now town hall really needs something had to be done.
Right.
So what Keegan did is he put together a group, and Dave Feldman was the selectman's representative on that group.
Fellow Selectman Dave Feldman.
Right,
Okay.
and one of the first decisions was where to put it, keep a location. And the Board of Selectmen again voted to keep it in the downtown area because it's so important. It's so important to keep it where it is in the downtown area near the common, because that's the heart of the community.
It is the heart of the community.
You know,
you're right.
the post office is there. We have commercial enterprises on Central Street, but also that's where the town hall has always been. If you go back to
It
the
really
history
has,
of the,
yes.
you know, buildings have burned down. You know, it was at the Moore Building at one time, which is on where Bay Colony is right now. That's always been where Town Hall has stood, and that's where it should stand. So that hurdle was done. So now the architects have been hired, and the plans are being drawn up. And we had a presentation at the Selectmen's meeting, and we saw what the new Town Hall was going to look like. They had five choices, and we narrowed it down to one.
Okay.
It was the plan that Bill Eugner had presented, and it was plan number 3 or something that
Bill
they
Eugner,
felt.
chairman of our municipal
Right.
permanent
Doing a
building
wonderful job.
committee, yes.
Right.
Long time
Yeah, and
leader of that
and
group.
what was important is they actually went to the people who work at Town Hall and say, okay, what would you like? What how should we do this? So they've had a lot of input, and it's the plans look great. And it's very exciting.
That's
And
great
it'll
to
be
hear
a
it's going
building-
forward.
And it'll be a building that the people can be proud of.
And it
it's
will last
not-
us down the road.
And it's not a Taj Mahal.
Well, I was
It's
going
a
to say, I won't be
practical-
able to use that name anymore.
Right,
so.
it's a practical building with, there is space to expand, they have extra office space if needed.
Which is important because who can say what the future holds? And,
Right.
and you have to be able to make your building meet your future needs,
Right.
even if you don't know what they are. And I think
Right.
so often in planning, we fail to do that with sidewalks and with
Right.
just basic infrastructure. You have to understand, all right,
Right.
this is cool for today, but 30
Right.
years from now, where are we going to be?
Because
We
you have to
don't know.
remember, the present town hall, when that was built, we had no veterans agent, we had no planning office, we had to squeeze those.
So the
those
space needs,
spaces.
right.
So they've been very, they're looking forward.
Good.
They're forward-looking. Yes, that's the term.
Well, I'm glad to hear that is
Yeah.
going in the right direction. So it sounds like you're a leader on that. And then we also have some other issues that maybe aren't with us now, but are going to be coming up. So if you're reelected to the Board of Selectmen, what are some of the topics that you would want to tackle, that you will be tackling?
Well, one thing that's coming up is the trash contract. It expires June 30th. And we're,
A 3-year contract that's already expiring,
right.
and that is with...
And we don't know we really don't know what's going to happen with that.
But it'll be interesting, and I'm just going to say that I am so looking forward to seeing how our town manager, Bill Keegan, professionally deals with it, because I think you and I both, watching from the sidelines last time, were pretty appalled at the way it went down. And maybe not even necessarily a decision, but the way it was communicated and the way the issues sort of didn't get addressed, but were probably addressed, but we have no way of knowing.
Right.
So I'm very interested in seeing a transparent approach, and I'm looking forward to this. So that's something that is coming down the
Right.
pike that you're looking forward to working on.
Right, actually the trash comes under the Board of Health as far as regulations are concerned. So we're looking for the town manager to be working with the Board of Health to find out how we want to approach the trash collection in the town of
Sure.
Foxborough.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's another issue that's always in the forefront, Route 1 development. And then there's the coming possible, I won't even say Olympics, Boston 2024 Olympic bid, but something that's a little bit more pressing and more on the table is the MBTA, the commuter rail.
Well, that was presented to the town in the fall. More or less as a done deal.
As a done deal,
without input from, not only without input from Foxborough, but also without input from the town of Walpole, which is also affected. But with the state of the financial state of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, MBTA expansion is not really high on Governor Baker's priority list. And people might want it to happen, but that doesn't mean it is going to happen. I mean, we have to be practical. Our state is in a lot of trouble financially. And when the previous administration was leaving, it was supposedly $735 million in the red, and now we're up to last time I heard it was $1.4 billion in the red. That's a lot of money.
Now, we in Foxborough, and I'm going to just ask this because I'm always interested in budgets and finances, and I'm talking with Ginny Coppola. We're here talking about the re-elect Ginny Coppola for selectman. And before we get into talk of budgets, which I'm going to talk about, I'll give you a second, You can check out Ginny Coppola at her website, www.coppolaforselectmen.org. She's got all the information up there if you want to donate, maybe put out a sign, learn more about Ginny. You can always log on to her website, again at www.coppolaforselectmen.org. You can also friend her on Facebook. I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure you do. And Ginny's happy to have you as a friend. And please don't forget to go out and vote on May 4th. The elections are held at the Herd Middle School, and you should be out there voting. You can also contact Ginny directly. She's always eager to hear from you at vcoppola, the number 1, VCOPPOLA, and the number 1 at Comcast.net. Or, and good for you, people can call you, and I know that's on the town website, but for those of you who don't want to go there, I'll give it to you here, 508-543-9243. So we're almost running out of time, but I'm fascinated to hear about your thoughts on the town budget relative to the state budget, because we went through this in 2002 and again in 2005, where the state had some significant downturn in revenues, and it took a good long while for them to recover, and unfortunately the burden ended up partially falling on the local economy, local budgets, and how we get our cherry sheet funding. And so can you touch on that?
Well, the great advantage of Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor Polito is that they were both selectmen.
Were they?
Previously, yes. They know.
So they must be good people.
Well, they are good people, but the thing is, they know what it takes to run a town. They know how important the state money cherry sheet is to the town budgets. And one of the first things that Governor Baker did after he was sworn in was he released that money that Governor Patrick had withheld. And so immediately the towns got
got the remainder of their budget.
Yeah, and that was important.
Well,
because
it's very
first of all,
important.
it was a promise he had made. Second of all, it gave the money that the town should have gotten months and months earlier.
I didn't realize that had been withheld, but I know firsthand the issues that arise with that, because back in October of 2002, we had that same issue where state funding was withheld. And in fact, the promises that we built our budget upon here in Foxborough were reneged upon. And I understand everything that goes into it, but it's still tough for the locality when you don't have the resources to have a significant chunk of change cut out of your budget. So good for you for being on top of that.
Yeah, but we do have a balanced budget. Mr. Keegan and working with Randy Scollins, they've come up with a good budget. There were some things that they said, no, we can't do that this year, maybe next year, and then other things that they said, okay, here's something we can fund. I think it was a good approach. I think it was a fair approach, and I think the town will be pleased with the final result. And this will be Mr. Keegan's first budget. So this is, I think the town will be very happy how this town meeting is going to roll out.
Well,
I mean, with the warrant articles and everything, and the process, a professional process.
Well, me and the other 200 of my near and dear friends who go to town meetings, we're looking forward to that then. So Ginny Coppola, who is running for re-election to her second term on our Board of Selectmen, is looking for your vote. I'm going to give you the last word in a minute, but again, one last time, you can check out Ginny and all that she stands for, and that's put on her website at www.coppolaforselectmen.org. You can email her at vcoppola, the number 1, at Comcast.net. You can call her at 508-543, I got to cheat on this one, 9243, or you can friend her on Facebook. And Ginny, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Well, thank you.
Tell us one last time why we should vote.
Well, thank you. Well, I would like to continue what the Board of Selectmen has started, and like I said, working with the new town manager, and just to help the town of Foxborough. I believe very much in this town. It's a wonderful town, and if I can do something to help this town, I would gladly do it. That's why I'm running again.
Former State Representative Coppola, current Selectman Coppola, and my friend Ginny.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks very much, and thank you, Foxborough Cable Access.
And thank you for taking the time to join us. I hope you've enjoyed our election coverage, and join me on this very station on May 4th. After the polls close, we together will be watching the election results as we count the votes that you went and took on that day. I'll see you at the polls, folks. Take care, Foxborough.